The world's great novels. A novel without a hero. The NBC University of the Air brings you the first installment of a 4-part radio edition of William Makepeace Thackeray's great satire of English society, Vanity Fair. Another in its series of books that live, the world's great novels. A 100 years ago, people used to talk about the great English novel that might someday come. And many of those people thought their hopes had been realized in Thackeray's Vanity Fair. But who can tell you better about Vanity Fair and its Becky Sharp than her creator, Thackeray himself?
Yes, like all women, she wishes to occupy a place in Vanity Fair. Only Becky, a poor girl and an orphan, has all the work of winning her place in society to do for herself. If a person is too poor to keep a servant, he must sweep his own rooms. And who would be so unkind as to blame him for getting dirty in the process? So, on a fine morning in June in the year 1814, we find our Becky leaving the Select Female Academy of Miss Pinkerton, where for 2 years she, Becky, has earned her board, keep, and tuition by teaching French to the younger pupils. Is Becky going out into the world alone? Oh, gentle listener, you underestimate her talents. Already, by using her wits, she has wangled an invitation from dear Amelia Sedley to visit with her in London for an indefinite period. This very minute, the Sedley coach is bearing the 2 young ladies away from Miss Pinkerton's school toward London at the astonishing speed of 4 miles an hour.
Let's talk about London. I suppose you have loads of friends there. Gentlemen friends.
Well, there's George.
George?
George Osborne, captain in the 9th Regiment. Becky, don't breathe a word of this, but... Well, there's an understanding between my family and George's.
You're engaged. Oh, Amelia, how I envy you. Rich parents, a wealthy fiancé, and poor little me. I have no one to lean on.
You have me, Becky.
Oh, yes, of course. But a woman is such a frail reed. One needs a man for support. You're an only child, are you not, Amelia?
Why, no. I told you about Joseph. Don't you remember?
Joseph? Oh, I dare say you did, but I'd forgot. He has a post in India.
He's the collector at Bogliwalla. But he's at home now on leave. A liver complaint. I'm sure I told you.
Did you? I suppose your sister-in-law is a nice sort of person.
Oh, la, Joseph's not married.
Not married? Oh, why ever not?
Oh, as a matter of fact, Becky, Joseph's terribly shy of women. You see, well, he's rather stout. In fact, I'm afraid he's fat.
Fat? But who would be so unkind as to hold a man's shape against him? I believe in looking beneath the outward appearance into the soul. In short, my dear Amelia, I believe in love.
Oh, but of course, Becky.
Your brother, Amelia, I suppose he's enormously rich?
Come, Becky, come into the drawing room. Don't be shy.
Oh, Amelia, if you only knew how my heart was beating.
Oh, Joseph won't hurt you. You'll see. Don't hang back. Joseph, I'd like to present to you my friend, Miss Sharp. I'm sure you've heard me speak of her.
No, never, upon my word.
Oh, Joseph.
That is... Yes, of course. What abominably cold weather, Miss Sharp. You don't mind if I poke up the fire?
Indeed, no. Oh, Amelia, why didn't you tell me your brother was so handsome?
Do you really think so?
So distinguished. Mr. Joseph, I hear you've been in India. I should so love to see India.
Oh, now would you indeed, miss? Upon my word, this is a coincidence. I've just come from India. You want to go to India?
Oh, I adore all things Indian. I truly do. Rogers and curry and elephant.
Elephants? Oh, so you like elephants? Puts me in mind of a story, Miss Sharp. 'Twas out at Bogliwalla.
Bogliwalla? Oh, it's a fascinating name.
Well, as I was saying, it was out at Bogliwalla, and Sir Huddleston Fuddleston, old Mulligatawny, we always called him.
Now, did you really?
Upon my word, we did, Miss Sharp.
Do go on, Mr. Joseph.
Well, old Mulligatawny, Sir Huddleston Fuddleston, you know, was entertaining some visiting notables. Decided to take them on a tiger hunt. Quite the thing, you know, tiger hunt.
Oh, Mr. Joseph, I can't bear it. Don't tell me you went on a tiger hunt.
Oh, pooh, Miss Sharp, don't be frightened.
For your mother's sake, Mr. Joseph, for the sake of all your friends, I entreat you, never go on a tiger hunt again.
Well, now, my dear Miss Sharp, if it means so much to you...
Oh, it does. It does?
Upon my word, then, I promise no more tiger hunts. I say, Amelia, but you brought us a charming young lady. I repeat, a most charming young lady. Upon my word, but she is.
Oh, Mr. Joseph.
Now, back to the tiger hunt. As I was saying, Miss Sharp, Sir Huddleston Fuddleston, old Mulligatawny, we called him, you know.
Oh, yes, I know.
I say, Amelia, look at old Joseph there with Miss Sharp. I never saw him so eloquent.
Oh, poor dear. I'm afraid he's telling her the story of the tiger hunt again. It's the third night in a row.
I didn't know old Joseph was a tiger hunter.
He's never been on one in his life. But don't tell Becky.
I shouldn't think Miss Sharp was the sort of girl that had to be told anything. I say, Amelia, what do you know about her?
She was my dearest friend at school, and she's all alone in the world, George.
She won't be long, if I'm a judge.
What do you mean?
Looks like she's got her hooks in old Joseph.
George, don't be vulgar. Why, Becky would never dream of...
Oh, my dear, sweet, innocent Amelia. Don't you know that if a girl has no mamma to do it for her, she must go husband hunting for herself?
George!
And I give it to you as absolute fact that any woman, provided she hasn't a hump, may marry whomever she likes. Thank heaven you dear creatures don't know your own powers.
George, I don't like the way you're talking at all. Come, let's go and join Joseph and Becky.
As you wish. But mark my word, Amelia. I'm going to give Joseph a tip tomorrow about what he's letting himself in for.
George, you must.
Oh, hang it, Amelia. She'll be bringing an action against him the first thing he knows. I'm a liberal man, but I do want a lady for my sister-in-law.
Sugar, Becky? Yes, and cream, too, please, dear Amelia.
Oh, such a dull afternoon.
I wonder what's keeping Joseph. He's usually on time for his tea.
Oh, dear Joseph. Eating is his only diversion.
I've half a mind to embroider him a pair of braces. He's been so kind to me. Oh, it's probably Joseph now. Don't mention the braces. They're to be a surprise.
I promise.
Come in.
A letter from Miss Sharp, Miss Amelia. Here it is, Miss.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good, ma'am.
Oh, Becky, it's from Joseph. I know his seal. Do open it.
My hand trembles so I can scarce. Oh, Amelia, to think your wonderful brother, an Indian nabob, would write to me.
Becky, open it.
I'll always keep this as my most cherished, but...
Amelia. Becky, what is it?
He's gone.
Gone?
To Scotland. For an indefinite stay, he says here.
Oh, Oh, Becky, I was sure that you...
You thought I might be silly enough to care for Joseph Sedley? How could you?
Oh, dearest Becky, I do trust that you feel no ill will toward me.
Of course not, Amelia. But I do feel that I've imposed upon the Sedley hospitality long enough.
Oh, never.
I have my own way to make in the world.
But what will you do? Where will you go?
I'm not without talent, dear Amelia. Before I left Miss Pinkerton's, I made her write me a recommendation for a post as a governess.
Oh, but you must stay with us until you get a post.
I have one, my dear.
You have a position?
I've had one for days. I was just waiting. I only wish to rest for a little while before taking up my burden again.
Poor Becky.
Well, at least I shall be with the really genteel people. The Sir Pitt Crawleys, you know.
Really? A baronet?
It will be wonderful to be with really genteel people. None of your vulgar nouveau riche. Oh, forgive me, Amelia. I forgot your father had to work for his money.
Don't apologize, Becky. I'm proud of my father. Becky, let us part friends. I do honestly hate to see you go.
But I must go. I must think of my future. And there is certainly no future for me here.
Now, gentle listener, among the most respected names contained in the Court Guide in the year 1814 was that of Crawley, Sir Pitt, Baronet, Great Gaunt Street, and Queen's Crawley. Sir Pitt Crawley was the son of Walpole Crawley, first baronet of the tape and sealing wax office. The family tree furthermore mentions Charles Stuart Crawley, sometimes called Bare Bones Crawley. And close by the name of Sir Pitt Crawley, baronet, subject of the present memoir, is written that of his brother, the Reverend Bute Crawley, rector of Crawley cum Staleby. Oh, mark well the name of Crawley, for it is to this genteel family that our Becky has succeeded in engaging herself, as governess. The Sedley carriage has just deposited her bag and baggage at the door of Sir Pitt's Gaunt Street residence. On the morrow, she will drive with Sir Pitt to his country-seat at Queen's Crawley, and there undertake the education of his daughters. But now she waits for the door to open, and for her humble self to be admitted to his august presence.
Is this Sir Pitt Crawley? I'm Miss Becky Sharp.
Yes?
Well, just stand there. These are my bags. Hand them in, old man.
And them in, you said.
How dare you? Pick up my bags at once.
What'll you give me?
I'll give you nothing. Just wait till Sir Pitt hears of this.
Sir Pitt.
Pick them up, do you hear me? This minute.
I'll do it for a pint of air.
I'd as soon give you my eyeballs.
Then the bag stays where they're at.
Very well. A pint of beer, then. But I warn you, I intend to tell Sir Pitt everything. Pick them up.
Oh. Emmy, must have cleaned out your lost mistress's closets.
Hold your tongue. That's no way to talk to a lady.
Lady. Come along, Lady Becky.
Where are you taking me?
To the kitchen where he belongs.
Set my bags down at once. I'll be made a fool of no longer. I demand to see Sir Pitt. Where is Sir Pitt?
You're looking at him.
What? What are you saying?
That I'm Sir Pitt Crawley. And what's more, Lady Becky, you owe me a pint of beer.
Thus, gentle listener, Sir Pitt Crawley, a dirtier, more disreputable, ignorant, miserly old man is not to be found in the whole peerage of England. And yet he is a dignitary of the land, a pillar of state, He rides in a golden coach. Ministers and statesmen court him. But remember, this is Vanity Fair. And because it is Vanity Fair, our Becky, after her first shock is over, appears not to notice a single blemish on Sir Pitt's character.
Who is it? What do you want?
It's Sir Pitt, Lady Becky.
Oh, just a minute, Sir Pitt. What is it, Sir Pitt?
You was burning a candle, ain't you?
What? Why, yes.
No candles after 9 o'clock.
But...
Candles cost money. Go to bed in the dark, you pretty young nosy.
He pitched me. Dear Amelia, I do believe Sir Pitt has taken a fancy to me. And of course I shall do all I can to ingratiate myself with my benefactor. His wife, his second by the way, is an invalid, you know. Poor soul, who knows when... But why look into the future? Sir Pitt's oldest son, also called Pitt, lives here with his father and stepmother. He is unmarried and a very scholarly sort of person, always shut up in the library. Oh, I beg your pardon, Mr. Crawley. I didn't know anyone was using the library.
Not at all. Not at all. Come in, Miss Sharp.
I was just returning a little pamphlet I've been reading. It's called An Address to the Bethesda Society in Behalf of the Mission to the Chickasaw Indians. It's really fascinating, sir.
Did you really find it so, Miss Sharp? Then I'm touched beyond words. That little pamphlet is one of my own writings.
Oh, Mr. Crawley, I never dreamed.
Yes, Miss Sharp. I've another here on the beneficial qualities to be derived from malt. Perhaps...
Oh, I should dearly love to read about malt.
Very well, my dear. Take it along with you. I must say that you're the only member of this household who's ever been moved by my writings.
Well, I suppose I inherit my taste for finer things from my mother. She was French, you know. A Montmorency.
A Montmorency? You don't say. Oh, there's quite a history of that noble family right here in the library.
Yes, sir. I was looking into it only last night.
Blood is everything, I always say. Really, Miss Sharp, we must know each other better.
Mr. Crawley, you won't think me presumptuous if I tell you how honored I feel to be here at Queen's Crawley, among such genteel people. Lucky you, to spring from such a noble lineage, to inherit such a fine old title. You will, of course, inherit the title.
Yes, the title goes to me. Though, of course, my father may live for years. Such a hale old man.
Very hale.
All of the Crawleys are a long-lived people. My father's sister, Matilda...
Yes.
75, if she's a day. And the life she lives would have killed any normal person years ago.
Mr. Crawley, you don't mean...
Champagne, Miss Sharp, and brandy.
No.
She reads Voltaire, too.
No.
And Rousseau.
No.
And to think that any day she may meet her maker.
Oh, I tremble for her.
And to crown all her folly, Miss Sharp, she declared she'll leave her entire fortune to my cockfighting, gambling, carousing young brother.
Your brother? You have a brother?
Captain Rawdon Crawley of the Lifeguards Green. A very dubious character, Miss Sharp.
And it is to this dubious character that Miss Crawley is leaving her money. How interesting. I suppose Captain Crawley visits his father occasionally.
Never darkens the door of Queen's Crawley until my Aunt Matilda pays her annual visit.
Will she be coming here soon?
Within a fortnight, I'm afraid. We're due for a visit from both of them.
Really? You don't say. Well, I must be running along now, Mr. Crawley. It's been a most interesting morning. Most interesting.
Happy to serve you at any time, Miss Sharp.
Good day to you, Mr. Crawley.
Good day, Miss Sharp. One moment, you're forgetting my pamphlet on malt. Oh, well, she didn't hear me. Another time.
If you have not observed already, gentle listener, that our Becky is a very wise young woman, then I've told my story in vain. But now our Becky is confronted with a problem of strategy that would have confounded a Wellington. Before her lie an amorous old baronet with an ailing wife, a stodgy older son who will one day inherit his father's title, and a penniless bounder of a younger son who stands to come into his Aunt Matilda's entire fortune. Where shall she attack? Let us hasten to find out. The scene is the great ballroom at Queen's Crawley, several days after the arrival of Miss Matilda Crawley and Captain Rawdon Crawley of the Life Guards Green.
I say, Brother Pitt, that Miss Sharp is a neat little filly. No wonder you fancy stopping down here in the country.
I should come away from that punch bowl if I were you, Rawdon.
The best country dancer in the whole room, Miss Sharp, and my name's not Rawdon Crawley.
That's your 7th glass of champagne since I've been standing here.
Yes, Miss Sharp sent me to cool off. I think I'll go find her again.
I should advise you to stay away from her, in your condition.
Miss Sharp don't mind. She's a match for me. Miss Sharp's a match for anyone. Look how she's got around Aunt Tilda already.
Sit here beside me, Miss Sharp, and rest.
I'd love to, Miss Crawley.
You know, if Brother Pitt doesn't watch out, I'll steal you from under his nose. Take you home with me as a companion.
I suppose you live a very gay life in London, then?
Oh, when one's 75, there's not much left but eating and drinking. I manage to do a great deal of both.
And, of course, your nephew, Captain Crawley, he comes often to visit you.
Every day that he's in town. Ah, what I'd do without that scamp.
I suppose he has a very promising future.
He's bound to succeed. He's so delightfully wicked. Rawdon would go to the deuce for a woman. There must be good in a man who would do that.
That was a beautiful part of Lord Nelson's character.
Here comes Rawdon now, that sweet rascal. Go away, Rawdon. I want Miss Sharp to myself.
I can't say I blame you, Aunt Tilda.
I'm thinking of taking her back to London with me. Old Briggs is beginning to bore me.
Oh, that's a capital idea, Auntie.
I'll double what Brother Pitt is paying you, Miss Sharp.
Oh, Miss Crawley.
So you'll come, my pretty.
By Jove, you must come, Miss Sharp.
Ah, but let me warn you against my nephew, Miss Sharp. There was that parlor maid.
Now, Auntie.
Surely Miss Crawley doesn't suppose I can't defend my honor.
I'm not saying you can't.
Oh, I say, Auntie, let it go, will you? Or Miss Sharp will never come to you.
But I'd come in a minute, only I do hate to leave Sir Pitt, especially with Lady Crawley so poorly.
Oh, hang Lady Crawley.
But still, I must think of my future. If I don't, who will?
So, gentle listener, when the carriage of Miss Matilda Crawley rolls away from Queen's Crawley toward London, who should sit beside Miss Crawley, nursing a fat spaniel, but, our own Becky Sharp. And who should ride along beside the carriage, mounted on his black charger, but, Captain Rawdon Crawley of the Life Guards Green. Now, a month later, let us look in on the snug little house of Miss Matilda Crawley in Park Lane, London. It's nearly morning, and Becky is fetching up Miss Crawley's breakfast.
Good morning, Miss Crawley.
Morning, Becky.
I've brought your chocolate, your mail, and the morning papers.
Any new scandals in the Tatler?
Here's a nice tidbit, Mum. Ensign Shafton has run away with Lady Barbara Fitford.
Splendid. I adore imprudent matches.
Do you really, ma'am?
Except in my own family.
Oh.
I'll have my chocolate now. Give me my mail.
Here you are, ma'am.
What's this? A letter from Queen's Crawley. I suppose Brother Pitt is still pawing the earth because I stole you from him. Becky, what do you think?
What is it, ma'am?
Lady Crawley is dead.
Oh, no, ma'am. She can't be. Who would have guessed she would die so soon?
It's a wonder to me that she stood Pitt's abuse as long as she did. Poor, spineless creature. She didn't even have the character to take to drink.
When did she die?
Yesterday. What a nuisance. Now I suppose I shall have to put off my party. Well, miss, why are you sniffling? You paid Lady Crawley no more attention while you were there than if she'd been a weed in the park.
Well, I have a very tender heart.
Well, go over to the window now till you're done crying. I can't bear to hear you.
Oh, Miss Crawley, look out the window.
What is it?
It's Sir Pitt's coach and four.
Well, I refuse to see him. I won't see him. My nerves won't stand it. Go down this minute, Becky, and tell him that I'm too ill to receive anyone.
Yes, ma'am.
And before you go, hand me the Tatler.
I'm sorry, Sir Pitt, but Miss Crawley is too ill to receive anyone.
So much the better. I want to see you, Miss Becky.
Me, sir?
I want you back at Queen's Crawley.
Oh, but Sir
I
Pitt...
just got news that my wife is dead. I'm going back to the funeral. Will you come?
Sir Pitt,
I say again, I want you. I can't get on without you. You must come. Say you'll come, little Becky.
Come as what, sir?
Come as Lady Crawley, if you like. There. That ought to satisfy you.
Oh, Sir Pitt... Sir Pitt...
Come back and be my wife, Becky. You're fit for it. Birth be hanged, you're as good a lady as I ever see. Yes or no?
Sir Pitt, I can't.
I'll get on my knees to you, Becky. Oh. On my knees I ask you to say yes, Becky. I'm an old man, but I'm a good one. Good for 20 years. I'll make you a settlement. Do everything regular. Only say you'll come.
Oh, Sir Pitt, I can't. I can't.
Why can't you, Becky?
Because... Oh, who would have thought Lady Crawley would die so conveniently? Don't you see? I'm married already.
Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray is one of the world's great novels, brought to you each week by the NBC University of the Air. Listen next week to the second episode from Vanity Fair, and remember that this and countless other fine books are to be had in your local public library. To enhance your enjoyment of these broadcasts, NBC offers you Herbert Gorman's Handbook of the World's Great Novels. Just send 25 cents with your request to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. Vanity Fair is adapted for radio by Frank and Virginia Wells. The music was composed by Morris Momorsky and the orchestra directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Becky Sharp is played by Nanette Sargent, Amelia by Geraldine Kay, Aunt Matilda by Virginia Payne, Thackeray by Sherman Marks, Rawdon by Boris Applin, George by Sidney Breese, Sir Pitt by Charles Eggleston, Young Pitt by Don Gallagher, and Joseph by Arthur Peterson. The program came to you from Chicago. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.